Hello, behind me is Manors railway station on the East Coast Mainline. It is the first of 3 stations I'll be visiting on this episode of Exploring the East Coast, along with Newcastle Central and Chesterley Street. So yeah, before I see what there is around here at Newcastle, welcome to Flights and Times. So Manors Station is accessible via the footbridge there. It's an island platform, sees an hourly service on the Carlisle to Morpeth via Newcastle service. However, round the corner is Manors Metro Station on the Tyne and Wear Metro, and realistically, if you were going to visit around this area, you'd get the Metro and not the hourly National Rail service, unless you happen to be on that service anyway. The railway station is actually the least used station in Tyne and Wear. At least it was. I think it still is with the latest stats. But Jeff Marshall did one of his least used station videos a little while ago, so I'll link to that in the description. But essentially, the things you can do from Manors are the same you can do from Newcastle Central. You've got Newcastle City Centre, about 5-10 minute walk away from here. So this bit's going to be a bit of a cheat between mixing things up, between what counts as Manors, stuff to do with Manors and stuff to do in Newcastle. But I'm actually going to do a bit of Newcastle, head down to Chesterley Street because the trains to get there and back are a pain, and then I'll come back to Newcastle, have another hour or so before then getting my train home later. So yeah, I'm going to try and figure out how I get to somewhere from here, and I'll see you wherever that somewhere may be. So I've come up and over the bridges, footbridges from Manors Station, takes you across the motorway, brings you out to the east side of the city centre. Behind me is the Lang Art Gallery, Lane Lang, which in itself is a nice building, also full of art for you to look at. Can't actually find online how much it is to enter. It might be free, might cost a bit, but I'll put the link to their website in the description if art is your thing. It's not my thing. It's also lunchtime, so my next stop is Stack Soul Shack, I think, which is a bit like Shoreditch Box Park, lots of different independent food retailers. So I'm going to go there and see what I can get myself for lunch. So behind me is the Stack, not the Stack Soul Shack, just the Stack in Newcastle. It's basically made of containers. There's some little shops out on the street, and inside's a social venue, lots of food. I've been to Parmageddon, had a excellent Parmo. So yeah, if you're in this bit of Newcastle, why not come up and check it out. Behind me is Gray's Monument in the centre of Newcastle. It was built in 1838 to commemorate Charles Grey, 2nd Earl Grey, for the passing of the Great Reform Act. There's also Newcastle's Christmas market in this area, another metro station. So yeah, I'm now going to head down to the station, go to Chesterley Street before coming back and seeing what else Newcastle has to offer. Now at Chesterley Street station in County Durham, I believe. It's between Durham and Newcastle on the East Coast Mainline. However, despite being between those two fairly major stations and on possibly the second busiest mainline in the country, it only sees a 2-hourly service. It is the Transpennine Express Liverpool to Newcastle services that stop here. Although they run hourly, they only stop here every other hour. So yeah, 2-hourly service here at Chesterley Street. In addition to that, I think there's 3 northern services a day that stop here, and the station is technically a northern station. Unfortunately, because of those timings, I'm not actually going to head into the town. Excuse me whilst I adjust for my mask. I'm not going to head into the town because by the time I get in there, I would be heading back out again, especially as most of the things to do are beyond the town centre. Especially the first, which hopefully you can see behind me about here, is Durham County Cricket Ground. One of the leading cricket grounds in the country, and tends to be one of the host grounds for the Ashes when they're in England. So yeah, that's one of the main things to do in Chester Street. I'm going to find somewhere to sit, so I can put my bag down, my coffee down, and I'll tell you a bit more about what is in Chester Street. So I'm now stood on the footbridge. Well, technically I'm not on the footbridge. That line there is the edge of the station, which means technically, legally, I don't have to wear my mask, because that's how COVID works. So yeah, Chester Street, there's also a large park on the bank of the River Wear. That's the same river that comes up through Durham, up through here, and goes out into the North Sea by Sunderland. So Riverside Park, looking on Google, it looks quite a large park. So on a nice summer's day, it might be a nice place to explore for a few hours. Unfortunately, in the middle of December, it's a bit chilly for that. Also, Chester Street, bit of an oddity as a station. This was one of two stations for a period, I think, of about 15 years, that following privatisation was ran not by one of the train operating companies, but was ran by a third party. Here and Eaglescliff Station were ran by Chester Track until that company went into administration, I think, in 2016. So now, despite the only 3 northern services a day, this is a northern run station. As I said, TransPennine Express make most of the run most of the services that stop here, but there is also LNER, Cross Country, Lumo, and obviously all the freight that runs through here fast. But yeah, that's pretty much it from Chester Street. I've got about half an hour till my train. I'm going to find a bit of shelter out of the wind, because that's the biggest problem today, the wind, not the general temperature. But yeah, then I'm back to Newcastle. I'll have about an hour and a half to explore before I get on a Lumo service home this evening. So yeah, that's Chester Street, and I will see you back in Newcastle. I'm back at Newcastle's main station, formerly known as Newcastle Central Station. Behind me is another of Newcastle's attractions, Newcastle Castle. Unfortunately, it's closed today. It's open Thursdays to Mondays, and today is a Tuesday. So yeah, can't go and visit that, but it's the famous view of the station as well is from there. The tracks, essentially there's a junction about here. You've got the East Coast Mainline going off here, and you've got the over the high level bridge there. So yeah, good views from the castle of the railway and good views from the railway of the castle. In terms of getting to Newcastle, major city, plenty of services. You've got an hourly Transpennine Express that I've just come up on that comes across from Liverpool and Manchester via Leeds, York, etc. You've got 2 LNER services an hour from London to Scotland. The occasional one terminates here, some go beyond Edinburgh, but yeah, London to Edinburgh for the most part. You've got lots of local northern services around the northeast and across to Carlisle. You've got 5 Lumo services a day between London and Edinburgh. You've got cross country, which is 1 or 2 per hour. Again, some terminate here, some continue to Edinburgh, but they come from the southwest via Birmingham, and then again, yeah, Midlands, Leeds, York, etc. And I think that's it. But yeah, essentially, if you want to come to Newcastle, you can get to Newcastle. If you're coming from further afield, if you happen to be an international viewer, Newcastle has an airport, so you can fly into Newcastle. The metro takes you straight from the airport to the city centre. So I'm going to go outside, see if there's anything else I can tick off and show you. If not, I'll tell you about it, and then find somewhere to warm up and have a coffee. So I'll see you in a minute. So I've decided I'm not going to go back up into Newcastle itself. Got a little bit of time before the train, but it's been a long day, so I'm going to find somewhere to sit and do some writing for a little bit. Have a few other things you can obviously do in Newcastle, big city, loads to do. So much more than it. Like, this is my second visit to the city and still got loads more to do. As I said, there's the castle, there's the cathedral, which you can just see the tower of behind me. You've got Discovery Museum to the west of the city centre, a bit science museum-y, or like think tank in Birmingham, and it's got a massive steamship in there along with a few steam engines. There is what else is there? Oh, there's the Newcastle Monument, which you can go and see in the city centre. But yeah, essentially, and then there's the whole quayside area, vibrant with bars and restaurants, etc. But yeah, that's it from this episode of Exploring the East Coast, Newcastle Manors and Chester Street. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, goodbye.